Hi, I'm David Lloyd. I'm the Conservative candidate to be Police and Crime Commissioner in Hertfordshire. This is a big role, and it's the first time that you, the public, have been able to elect someone in charge of crime in the county. I'm a person who's up for this role. I've been in charge of policing for the last 12 months, and during that time we've seen crime come down by more than 20%. You're more than twice as likely to be convicted in Hertfordshire as you are elsewhere. And I want to continue driving down the crime in the county. We're very lucky that we've got a really safe place to live and work, and I want to make sure that that stays that way by having a Conservative in charge once again of policing. So I've lived in Hertfordshire for 17 years, always in the same village, Hampstead. My children have been brought up there, they've gone to school in the local schools. I really love Hertfordshire, and that's one of the reasons that I want to be the first Police and Crime Commissioner in Hertfordshire. It means a really great deal to me. So what difference will a commissioner make? Well, for the first time you have the opportunity to choose who is looking after policing, and more to the point, to influence what they want to do about policing. If elected, I will be meeting with you, not just before the election, but after the election as well, coming out into communities to hear what you've got to say, so that can be reflected in how we police your locality. So I've been involved in local politics for 13 years. I'm currently Deputy Leader in the County Council, where I look after an £800 million budget, and on that I've managed to make £200 million worth of savings without hitting frontline services. That's really important when we're going into a difficult financial time. You need someone who's able to make savings by looking at efficiency rather than looking at cuts. I've also been involved in education. I understand the whole issue around children and learning, and I've been involved in economic development. That's about bringing in more jobs to this county, making sure that we are fit for purpose. I've also been involved around adult care services, one of the areas that I most enjoyed, an area where you've got to look after people with learning disabilities, the old, the frail. That's a really important area, and actually links in very well with what we should be doing in policing around areas like domestic violence, around areas like hate crime. Those are really important areas to me, and I've got a lot of expertise and knowledge in those areas. Well, you want someone in charge who you know can do the job. This is going to happen anyway. There's no way we're not going to have a Police and Crime Commissioner. Let's go someone who you know and you know can do the job properly. Now, what is the job about? The job is about, first of all, holding the Chief Constable to account. In English, what that means is you've got to say what you want them to do and make sure that they're doing it. And if they're not doing it, you've got the ability to hire and fire a new Chief Constable. Secondly, you set the budget. In other words, how much you're paying for policing and where it's being put. That's really important. And thirdly, we write the police plan. Now, the police plan is where you have your influence in how policing is going to happen on your streets, where you're able to say what's important to you. Well, come out and vote on the 15th of November. Put a cross in my box. It's important that I get elected. If you don't want to get involved in the election, just come and vote. But before that, there are hustings, there are ways of getting involved. You can look at my website, you can email me. I think it's really important that we get some real traction around this election. After the election, what I'm doing is I want to have as many ways as getting into your locality as possible. Now, that might well be meetings, but it might well be using the website which we'll have set up, using the various other channels that we'll have set up. So, it will be important that you keep on telling me what you want in policing, because that's the way we'll make sure that every community has got the policing it wants and it deserves. I believe in cutting crime. I believe in catching more criminals, and I believe in keeping your tax low, and that's why I want the role. I believe in the future. Policing needs to be where it is at the moment, but I believe even more that the way to drive down crime isn't around how many police you have on the streets. It's about how you work together amongst all the different agencies. It's about how you work with the county council and the borough council and probation. We've got to make sure that all of these organisations work closely together so that we can drive down crime together. Because every time we call out the police, it's a negative. Every time we call out the police, it's a failure. It means that someone has been hurt, it means that someone has been burgled, or someone has been assaulted. We don't want that to be happening. We want fewer crimes, not more crimes and more police. So what we've got to do is work together across all the public sector to make sure that we drive down crime rather than worry about the policing end. Well, obviously one of the things we've had to look at for a long time is how we're going to deal with less money, keeping the officers on the front line. And I have got a proud record of being able to keep more officers than just about anywhere else in the country on the front line. Now the way we've got to do that is we've got to look very, very closely at what we're doing in the back office, because we've only got so much money, and we've either got to take people out of the back office and make that more efficient, or we'll have to take police off the front line. That's something I don't want to do. So what I'm looking at is how do we build the budget so that the front line is kept as safe as possible with as many people there as possible, whilst providing a very efficient back office to give the support that it needs to.